Okay. Welcome back to the green couch.
Welcome back. Are you excited?
I don't know what to do with my hands. But we're talking about American privilege.
Yeah.
It's being, and that's what I mean by American privilege. You said you found some things that discussed American privilege.
Yeah, there was some videos that I had looked up on YouTube, and it was like TED Talk.
Nice.
So I just specifically put in American privilege, and it was some really cool, different perspectives. One I found was, this guy, he did speak about like the positives of having privilege and the benefits in being able to almost like share your benefits with each other.
The privilege of, I've been working a really long time. My dad owns a construction company, so I've been able to work. So I have a lot of built-in skills.
What do you mean?
Like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
Because of who my father was and what he had built for me. So, but that's not a bad thing, and I do try to pass that on.
There is some things that I do want to point out about American privilege that I feel like will bring us closer to, like inclusion and figuring out how to have like a healthy future, that if we treat each other with respect and trying to understand each other and having these different types of discussions, that energy will be fed on the earth. You know what I'm saying? We'll be able to understand how to treat our animals and how to treat the plants and the water.
So yeah, I thought that I innovated this word, which is also a word that I just innovated.
Innovated.
But no, I thought I had
innovated
this word, or this phrase, American privilege. I guess I'm not special. What I'm referring to, I'm assuming they mean the same, is the privileges that you get being born a U.S. citizen. Even people like Puerto Ricans, American Samoa, Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, places like that.
We got down 47.
I was talking about places that aren't states. I think we already know.
When I lived in Alaska, it felt like I was not a part of the United States.
And then, real quick, I guess, side note to all other Americans that live in the other countries in America. I know that we're not the only America, but that's part of our privilege.
Yeah.
Is that we call ourselves America.
Yeah.
Even though I don't even know how many countries are that. That's another privilege. All of South America, all of Central America.
Military bases are really.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I think
you're like in this weird safety net to use your American privilege.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Our consulates are in most countries, and we are pretty intense when it comes to, I guess, protecting our citizens from the systems of other people. We were talking about that earlier as we were getting ready for the video, but our privilege, we assume, that's part of our privilege. We assume our system comes with us. So our laws, the way I put it earlier, right, was when people come here, either immigrants, tourists, our sense is, this is our house. You're going to follow our rules. You're going to speak our language, American. And you're going to be a good house guest. Please be asleep by 9. When we go to other people's houses, it's like, I'm a guest in your house, and you need to cater to me. Why are you not speaking my language? What, I don't understand. No, I don't know that rule. So, it's like...
Not all.
Yo, okay.
Not all behave.
No, of course not.
But we do exercise it. All of us. There's this sort of, I need what is familiar. And I think that's why you have some Americans now finding, wanting to find a disconnect from that. When you're living in a van, or if you're trying to just reconnect with like no privilege. But you gonna want salt on your McDonald's French fries and be surprised they ain't even got French fries.
Well, depending on
You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna say something about it. You know what I mean? Like, you're an American. It's 100 through and through.
Yeah, we are, with the exclusion of at least the reservations that I've been through, and that's what's wild about going to the third world or developing world. But you'll be driving and, man, people don't have doors on their houses. They got like blankets. And to us, it's like, oh my God, they don't have a door? And we're not like able to just be happy with like the little stuff. And I think that's at like, right.
It's a door.
And like, you know, with my friend who's doing life in prison, like he's so like positive for the situation that he's in, and it's wild. And same with, I'm not gonna say the situation, but like my friend down in Belize, to us, he's got like very little, you know. But man, like he just like is so positive and so happy, and like
like you said with your friend, you know, to know that I'm not in prison is a privilege. To know that I have the ability to walk around freely, and you know, just I mean, even jail. You know what I'm saying? Just your path is different from someone else's with that, and that comes with, you know, some privileges. You know?
Yeah, and a lot
You
of
look
times.
at as a saint, you know, if you ain't got no record. You ain't got no record? Oh, you good.
But you know, it's wild. I'll meet people, and this is where like, there for the grace of God, go I kind of going off on a tangent. But I met people, you know, they'll try to like look down on people who are like have criminal records and stuff like that, and then admit to doing like a felony crime to me.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
right.
the only
I'm a badass.
I'll be like, the only difference is you didn't get caught. That's the only difference. Like, you're not any better. Like, people talk about, yeah, I used to go knock over mailboxes with my friends. I'm like, that's a federal crime. I have a friend who like caught that charge.
Dang,
You know?
buddy, what you doing knocking down for mailboxes?
Well, you know, that's the thing that people used to do. Like, that's an American thing, roll around knocking over mailboxes, knocking over trash cans, like
knocking cows over. I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's straight out of boredom. That's
Yeah, man. When I first heard that, I was like,
oh God.
I think we only tie American privilege to like white privilege, and it's like I guess we tie it with like superiority. Like we kind of confuse those two definitions, like words.
Yeah.
You know.
Because there's a difference between having privilege and exerting privilege.
Right.
Exerting privilege is an aggressive usage of your privilege.
Want to come in? Don't touch me, I'm an American citizen.
But I feel like if you feel like you're in a dangerous situation in another country, you know, you probably would maybe like possibly start trying to be a little more American to like get the attention of someone. I don't really know. It might help in some situations, but
when you say you got in trouble for chewing gum. You would really pull all of your American.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Pretty much as soon if I got locked up anywhere, I'd be calling home. Like you would be calling home. You'd be calling the consulate. You know, like
y'all don't be telling no stories out there. Y'all know y'all would.
But that's the funny thing is that's like the perfect example. I can't remember his name. Let me look it up.
Unless you some kind of chewing gum revolutionary.
A small Southeast Asian country. Michael Fay.
Mm-hmm. That's
Let's
what
see.
you was telling me.
Oh no, he was. That's right. No, yeah, okay. He wasn't chewing gum.
Michael Fay is an American who was sentenced to 6 strokes of the cane in 1994 for theft and vandalizing 18 cars, which caused a temporary strain in relations between Singapore and the United States.
There's a whole Simpsons episode that had made fun of it.
And this is for the United States of America.
That's all they did was pop him?
With a pretty hefty cane. Like, that's their punishment.
Well, I don't want to say that's all they did. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm just like relating it to some hood
It's illegal to chew gum there. We had a whole conversation about it because she was like, I'm an American, I like to chew gum, and I was like,
no, I
but you
did
don't
not
know
say
why
it
they
like that. I
no,
didn't say it like
okay.
that. I
That was
didn't
a
say it
very-
like that. I think there should be some sort of compromise, you know, like you don't just don't roll up on me, hit me with no cane. Say you're hungry. I probably should say that. But say you're hungry, you know, you didn't really, I don't know if the airport may have or they do or they don't check for that, but I'm just saying, but say that's on you. Because as an American, that's a staple. You got spearmint, doublemint, you got Big Red, you got all these gums that satisfy your hunger. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, I was like reading about the case, and then I like checked back into the conversation. I'm like, oh, you're still talking about gum.
Well, damn.
Sorry, I was allowing you to.
Yes.
To
That's what I was saying. I did go on a tangent. All I'm saying is, educate yourself. I did say this too. I said educate yourself before you travel. Simultaneously, I did say that. But I also feel like it's chewing gum. There's levels to.
I think
There's levels to people's punishments. Like, don't be hitting me with no stick.
I think they walk around with like little small sticks. Like Deshaun said, they like hurt really. Like they're like, but you know, it's not like what he got.
Chewing gum.
Yeah, for doing any sort of like illegal things, but they won't arrest you. So what would you rather have, American police, or caning, or little sticks?
I think there should be
Or little sticks.
all around different procedures. There seems like there is a behind, like a lack of education in these law enforcement places all across the board that's not keeping up with what time that we're in. Because I'm just saying, with travelers. Now, if you're born there and that's how you are cultured,
This is American privilege I'm talking about.
And exactly, and I'm going to be honest. This is why we're discussing.
And this is not how the law works.
No,
Do
this
not
is not.
follow
This
what
is
she's
not.
talking
No,
about
this is not
because
how it
other
works.
countries have different
We were
laws,
just explaining why.
and they will
he
prosecute
is about
you
to explain. We're just explaining why
to the
he's
fullest extent of their
teaching.
law. Just try not to do anything illegal.
Yeah.
Look, if you
put aside your ego.
do you know how many Americans I've known to go to and then they like complain about Mexicans, but have gone to Mexico reckless, like dumb reckless. Like, hey, do you know where to get any weed? Do you know where to get any coke, flossing, and jewelry and shit? And then they wonder why they get robbed. They already know. They already know I'm an American with a bag. So I'm gonna try to look like I have the least amount of stuff that they want. I'm not gonna be like, I don't care if I'm going to Cancun. I don't care if I'm going to Punta Cana. I don't care if I'm going to Puerto Rico. South Phoenix, wearing a chain or wearing like a grill and not at least carrying something.
Katy Perry.
And I don't have something in other countries. Yeah, like why are you carrying so much jewelry? And then they cry when they get robbed.
No, and then there's also people that just believe that they should have what they want whenever they go somewhere, you know, especially if you're just going to talk about traveling, and that's just not the case. Like, College Hill on BET. Y'all remember College Hill on BET?
That was a perfect example.
It came out a while ago, and for the guys that know, y'all know.
I feel like our audience is probably closer to our age.
Right. So
Let us know.
You know,
How old are you?
And I think they did express that, you know, in
ASL.
learning that and experiencing it and watching themselves. I think there were a couple of interviews with them, like, understanding their privilege. Like, I should have never behaved that way. I've offended a lot of people. You know, just thinking that you should have it your way. I, defined American privilege as, honestly, you get a pass to get away with certain behaviors.
Travel in general, to me, like, that's one of the biggest things that I can say about American privilege. If you don't think Okay, here's a privilege check. If you have a passport and you have gone to any country in the developing world, you're extremely privileged. I'm sorry. Because there's people in those countries that can't even come close to getting into our country. Not traveling to, and definitely not.
I'm sorry.
Like, I was trying to really figure out what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And then you go to the resorts and you consume the culture, like, and I did it when I went to Mexico. I stayed at the resorts by Chichen Itza, and it's wild because it's, the descendants of the people that made this place are now the servants for the price of $125. You can basically go, and then of course the added fee of the tickets. So you do have to have money, but you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
Other countries don't have that privilege. And I know people that are literally considered criminal. Like their essence, their being is considered criminal because they couldn't afford the visas. They couldn't afford the application on their end. Not to mention the 10-year waiting list on their end to start the process on our end to begin. And here's another fact, or privilege check. And here's a reality. We love having illegal immigrants in this country because it creates if people of color in this country are second-class citizen, then undocumented immigrants are third class because they can't go to the hospital. They're afraid to go to the hospital. They're afraid to even try to call the police. The police and then the police are endangered, not just because they might get shot, but because they might also get deported. That, like, think about it.
And they're already trying to flee from, all their craziness, looking for asylum, right? Looking for aid. And that's what I said. I was just thinking to myself, our privilege to choose not, or to choose to help illegal or the undocumented. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. They are fleeing, and we know this. Simultaneously, we can ask them to do the work that we don't want to do. Like,
well, and here's a big one that I don't think people want to hear. Latin Americans in general, and I think this can be extended to the indigenous populations of the United States. Vast majority of Central Americans, at least Hondurans, Guatemalans, Nicaraguans, El Salvadorians, and a good portion of Mexicans are indigenous to the Americas. Our ancestors came here at least 23,000 years ago.
exactly.
And yet there is this line,
Right.
and people on this side get a privilege, and there's people of all races, all sexual orientations, genders that aren't indigenous, that say, nah, you don't get to be here, or like that benefit off of stolen land, like
Then I hate to cut you off, but then it goes, like you said, there's two sides of the coin, because you do appreciate that there are people that are at these, like we went to the Indian Mounds. You guys can check out that video pretty soon.
That was our last video.
That was so fun, so educating, and like just it was awesome, and it was being taught by someone who clearly has European ancestry.
You mean you're talking about New Echota?
Yeah, New Echota.
Yeah, that was the Cherokee capital.
I believe if we communicate or have open conversations within our communities about our privileges, it would basically create a solution, or somehow create the process of a solution to systemic injustices and inequalities, because then we'll be able to see, like, okay, I'm here to help, in a way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm here to help because we both clearly need each other.
And we have a common goal, which is,
Right.
I think, just to live
better.
and happily and peacefully.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idealist, but I feel like, isn't that kind of what people want?
Yeah, that's what everybody wants. But then there's people like, I cannot believe Jeff Bezos. Like, I haven't seen $100,000 yet. So it's just like, and that's just me being honest. I'm just being honest. On a table to freely use, I may have spent
I mean,
$100,000 within my 32 years of living, but to know that this man has billions,
shit.
billions
Yo, the fact that
upon billions.
I'll say the fact that Mark Zuckerberg lost $7 billion and is just like still straight.
He's chilling.
That's the weirdest. That's like, that should show you how odd, like, but that's capitalism. Because guess what? There's people like that in all different countries. And that's the thing. There's people, it doesn't matter. There's people who will exploit their own for a little bit of power.
Education.
But education is a privilege.
Yeah.
Even if you're a first generation college
Flipping
student,
the coin, right?
that's still a privilege. We get free education until we're 18. Now, I was annoyed with high school, but I didn't appreciate what a privilege that is. But when I went to Belize and I met friends who their schooling stops at 11, and then the next 3 years they have to pay what equates to
Wow.
$500 American to go to the next level of schooling. That's like, I guess you could call it like a high school or a university. You know,
I really
like,
don't understand how we would say this is the land of the free and not think people would try to come here
it's very wild. We sell the American dream
or try to keep people from coming here.
But
I heard that the American dream,
it's American
are
nightmare.
only for those that are asleep.
I don't know,
I
cause
like the way that sounds.
we have the privilege to rail against our government. I have a lot of immigrant friends, people that I've met, who come here, and they're so grateful of this country. Like they're so patriotic because of what they had, what they escaped. Like, you know, people, my Honduran friends, my catrachos, they'll be like, yo, one of them put it, if you're poor, they'll kill you. If you're rich, they'll kill you. If you're ugly, they'll kill you. If you're handsome, they'll kill you. If you're old, they'll kill you. If they're young, they'll kill you. Like, if you step outside, you got a chance of getting killed in Honduras in a lot of spots. So to come up here, and you'll be like, as an American, talking about our issues, and they'll be like, yeah, but I can make $15 an hour here. I couldn't make $15 in a month down there.
I know,
you know,
right,
like,
right. No, and in all to appreciate and have gratitude. I do, humbly, I do.
It's very layered.
And I wish and I pray that we do move forward to a world experiencing that, you know. I mean, and I guess the soon future because
Extreme
I have
poverty.
children. Well, yeah. A source of like helping each other and giving each other a privilege that we all should share. You know what I mean? Like we all should be able to experience travel and education and getting to know each other and sharing, really like sharing with one another. I don't understand why we can teach that as children but then grow apart from it as adults. And I think I just to go back to it, I feel like in particular in our community, Black people need to stop saying that they don't have any privilege. We definitely do. We're very, very well educated, and I keep going back to education, but it's a privilege. And we are seeing it with Black-owned businesses. We're seeing it with a lot of moving forward, which should be there, but a lot of times, you know, on Black Twitter or a lot of my Black followings, I hate this feeling that we're, you know, cultivating of like another oppressing type of
superiority.
Thank you. And I don't think that's the That's the message. And be well educated and not feel like, well, you know, if I'm not for just my black people, you know, I'm against. And that's our privilege is not used for that. I'm sorry, and it's hard for me to agree on that. Like, you're not a true activist, in my opinion, if you're not inclusive, you know.
It's not equality if you're not demanding it across the board.
For example,
That's called power.
Right.
Like, if you're demanding equality for yourself,
Right.
that's called
Exactly.
power.
Exactly.
That's not equality. Equality is for
All.
everybody.
It's for all.
That's how equality works.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, Black Lives Matter.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
But that's
because we do live in a time where it's the conversation
it doesn't.
for the fact that there's so many against Black lives. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we will be as aggressive if they got to it. It's like, come on now, get to it. Just because my skin is dark, come on now, let's progress. You know what I'm saying? Let's help all of us out, so we all see and believe it. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Google. And be accountable. You know, it's okay. You're not gonna die. No one's gonna get hurt when you actually face the
Just
mirror.
understand
it. And that's what the Green Couch is about. Like, you're gonna hear this time and time again, and I don't think we're really going to not try to help all. Like, just having as well-rounded as we can possibly have of a conversation.
Yes, yeah.
And being open-minded and definitely not judgmental. Like,
Yes, trying to check our judgmentalness.
trying to check ourselves.
Because we've been
through the process. It's definitely growing, but we definitely just want to push, like, educate yourself. You know, especially if you really want to be a proud American, right?
Yes, I say, and this is Atlanta's a great place to come because the Civil Rights Museum is awesome. I still need to take you there. Mm-hmm. Not only is this a center of American civil rights, but they had an exhibit about the human rights issues that are going on globally today. And you'd be surprised the things that you might buy that are exploiting people, putting them into possible slave labor. I mean, you just brought up Fenty.
Right. I was watching a YouTube.
And that's very
about that one. I love that. I forgot her name, but she's pretty dope.
Yeah, I liked her.
She broke it down. But there's so many people to this organization too, so it's like.
And it's not just Fenty, like
It's not just her face. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Rihanna's face that will use people.
But also think about how your choices impact other people's lives. Like, that's part of our privilege, is we don't understand the web. Be conscious of your thoughts. Like,
our choices that we make together that help, they're gonna see the power that we really do have. We just have to recognize that in each other. Our privilege contains power, and we can really change some shit. Like, we can really make some things shift. We just have to really, like, fucking believe in it. Like, it sounds so like a Disney movie, but it's the truth. It's exercising the right privileges. Come on, man. I'm just saying, it's the same thing. I ain't trying to judge. All I'm saying is there's two sides of this coin when it comes to having specifically American privilege. I feel like that could be, like, very impactful. You know what I'm saying? Especially the right, you know what I'm saying? The good side, if we choose the good side, like, it could be very impactful. Now it seems like we're all like siblings, like, well, I always get in trouble, and I promise you I didn't do it.
That's a perfect example. It does
just,
get
it
like
just
that.
Feels that way.
Look, someone else's experience doesn't invalidate yours, and your privilege doesn't invalidate your trauma or, like, the things that you went through either. Like, go and watch our intersectionality video. That's what that is about. We have varying modes of privilege and discrimination, and we walk in different paths of our identity. They all intersect. That's all it is.
Yeah,
but
they all intersect. We all intersect.
We do benefit from our American privilege, and I think that's why people aren't quick to question it.
Pretty thick.
Yeah, we've been wanting to talk about it for a while.
Maybe we could do a part 2.
Or
We can always do part 2s because.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in the things we talk about.
Oh, send it away, Daddy.
Yeah, I guess thanks for joining us at the Green Couch. We're gonna sit here like privileged Americans and watch TV.
Yeah.
As our new art shows. Thanks for joining us.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Later.
You guys like our videos?
All right, click some buttons. Whichever buttons work. The thumbs up. Don't ever click the thumbs down. Ever. Never. Leave a comment and then wherever the subscribe button is, and make sure that you click the bell. I hope you liked whatever video that was.
Yeah. Peace.
Later.